Hey, what's going on, everybody? Excited for another round of walk-ins. Welcome with you today. Here's the thing. We've tried to do this episode one time before.
Yes.
For those of you who attempted to listen, I do apologize in advance. We are doing a redo and making it better. We have some amazing guests with us today that I'm excited to bring to the table. One of the things that we found out at our mastermind, and that is since we've launched this.
I say we have new info.
Yeah, is that it continues to be the number one issue is people just don't answer their stinking phones. So we're gonna talk solutions around that today. But before we get into all of that, Michael, what's going on, buddy?
What's up? Yeah, I think this is our first true redo episode with an interview that I can remember.
That's right.
And as you were saying, we had some technical challenges. Well, we learned that 2 mics does not equal 4 mics.
No.
And our soundboard decided that when it got just a hair low, it would just chop the sound off. And so it sounded lovely on the recording, and we didn't realize the whole thing was that way. So we had chopped it, but we are back. We are very thankful that Ava and Axel are here with us again and can put up with us again. And there's already been life changes with Axel since the last time, which is super cool. We'll touch that in a second. But anyway, so let me do the quick introduction. So we have Ava and Axel here from Flip. Ava is the founding account executive at Flip, and then Axel is the product leader at Flip. So if you have any questions about Flip, these two people will probably have an answer for you, and then a full explanation, and then what the future of Flip will be doing and all different things. So these are the best people to talk to. Welcome aboard, Ava and Axel.
All right. So
Thank you very much.
typically I will intro with a question, but here's the deal. Ava, Winslow, absolutely welcome to the podcast, but also Axel, who is a new, go for it,
Dad.
There you go.
He's a new dad.
Congratulations, man. Happy for you. So where are you? How much sleep have you had? Are you okay? Blink if you need help.
I will blink as much as I can. Trying to get the brain working on that. No, super happy to be with you guys again.
Yes, we're glad to have you. And again, seriously, congratulations on the new addition to the family. Ava, anything new in your world? Give us an update.
Gearing up for UCA in Chicago.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Days. It'll be nice to get the band back together. Excited to see you guys. I'm still
I
not
wish I was-
convinced that you sabotaged the last recording on purpose just to get me on here a third time.
We'll sabotage this one too if it'll get you back again.
There you go.
We'll run it back.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Are you doing pickleball on Saturday?
I am not. I'm embarrassed to say it, and I know we're live. I have not booked my flight yet, so I need to do that ASAP. But I'll probably get in there early Sunday and hit the ground running.
If they would let me, I would transfer my ticket to you. I will not be there, but I will miss you guys being in person. I always love the UCA events. They're jam packed, and gosh, it's like drinking from a fire hose with information. But today I want to talk Flip. I want to solve this problem for our listeners. So Michael, let's get kicked off and let's get going here.
Yeah. So, I mean, Flip is a voice AI product. I think we would want to say AI. People, when they hear AI, they sometimes roll their eyes now because they hear it so often. But Flip is one of those companies like, hey, we have actually solved the problem in the urgent care space.
Right.
We have lots of case studies around it. And the reality is, like you mentioned or just a few seconds ago, about how the front desk is a challenge,
right?
And answering the phone's a challenge, and making some training and making somebody to say, would you like to get an appointment, is a challenge. Well, Flip helps remove some of those challenges. And it's really awesome just to kind of see it's developed, because I remember when we first experienced Flip, it was what it looked like then versus what it looks like now, quite a bit difference. But, Ava, kind of talk to us about, from the urgent care standpoint, how has Flip grown over the past couple of years, some of the advancements that you've seen. I know we'll talk a little bit about some of the future stuff coming that Axel will touch on, but no, kind of give us an overview of where Flip is now.
Oh boy. Yes, it has been a real treat to see how we've expanded with the help of, Axel, the product team, engineers. From when I started back in September of 2024, we were focused pretty strongly on just the inbounds, helping with the front desk, automating inbound call volume, alleviating the front desk staff and the call takers. But when I was in Alabama for the first podcast last year, we were just on the brink of launching those outbound calls for couple different use cases. One was calling on any cancellations or no-shows to try to recoup those visits back into the clinic, and then also calling on specific subsets of diagnosis codes for any aftercare visits that needed to be scheduled. And we've really mastered, again, because we focus on phones as our primary communication channel to drive outcomes with the patients. We know how to call, when to call, what time of day, when we're likely to get the most adoption. And we've expanded the use cases even further to calling for just general care continuity, also calling based on lab results, referrals, you name it. So the sky's the limit as far as Axel's willing to take us. We're going there.
It's all on you, Axel.
Yeah, I was
right?
going to say Axel just got some pressure put on, but
No pressure at all.
with the level of depth on the phone side of things, there's obviously changes that are coming along with the online schedulers and all these different kinds of things, but you guys marry up with that a little bit. So Axel, take a few minutes and talk about what the phone system's problem is solving specifically, because you named off a lot of things there, Ava. What is the specific problem we're trying to solve with Flip?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And going back to it, I think what we're solving is helping the front desk not have to spend that awful amount of time of taking care of patients that we can help take care of over the phone instead. In any urgent care that we come into, we see a missed call rate of 30-40%. So patients that are calling in have questions about coming in for a visit, if insurances are accepted, or if a certain services can be done this day. They also have questions about their lab results or anything else. It clogs up the time for the front desk to spend time with the patients that are in the clinic. And it also leads to the front desk not being able to spend all the time of taking a patient from that first question into ensuring that they actually have answers to all the questions they need and a booked visit in the booking system. So, I mean, what Flip does is on the first ring, we answer the phone to whatever urgent care you call into. We take care of the patient's questions about those services that are offered, about available times, about the location or opening hours. We help answer those questions and get the patient onto the schedule or for a walk-in. Those are really the simple tasks. But the nice thing about AI and the robot is they can exist in multiple versions. So even if several patients are calling in at the same time, there are several versions of Flip that exist as well, taking care of any patient and their questions to help answer them.
Well, and then you have unlimited answering agents.
Yeah.
Unlimited answering agents. And I think one of the first early signs that Flip is working is that we see the missed call rate at a clinic goes from 40% down to sub 5%. So any patient that calls in, they get answered. And the ones that do need to speak to a human agent, Flip will try to answer the questions. If it's a question that we shouldn't answer, if it's certain questions about specific care that we do want to let a human agent answer, we forward those calls. But since we're able to take care of the majority of calls, the agent at the front desk has the ability and the time to answer those harder questions.
You touched on that spot of 40% missed call rate. It is a sad statistic that's considered a standard in this industry. And I've never quite understood, because I can't imagine any other business saying, I'm totally fine with 40% of our calls going missed, and I'm putting marketing dollars into those phone calls.
I mean, heads would roll here.
Yeah, it's
a
a whole thing. I can't imagine I put in $100 knowing that $40 will just be ignored.
That's right.
Which is just mind-blowing. But then you say, hey, we went from 40% down to sub 5%, in the single digits, which is... that alone, no matter what kind of result comes from each of those calls, just that alone just automatically increases that customer experience model where somebody's answering. And the best part is it's actually answering they're not upset. AI is not upset. AI is having a good time. Doesn't matter if it got yelled at 10 seconds earlier. It doesn't know. It's just going to keep answering the most happy, cool tone it can.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So when Flip flips them over to a human, are those calls recorded as well, or is that just kicked off?
No. So I think that's one of the really nice parts, and parts of the product that we didn't realize how helpful they were for our clients. So Flip records all of the part that Flip speaks to the patient, but then we keep recording as the patient also speaks to the human agent, which creates this whole opportunity to actually help train the front desk as to how should we speak with the patients in a good way, how should we take care of them as they reach the actual human agent at the front desk, and we're able to record all of those parts and understand the transcripts. And I think this goes in both ways as well, because sometimes we also surface and give support to front desk that has had angry patients call in that are angry maybe for no reason at all. So yeah, that's a big upside of the product as well that I would say we weren't really aware of when we started some 2 years ago.
You know, one thing I appreciate though that Flip does that people may not realize is it helps eliminate that phone tree of a press 1 for this, press 2 for that, press 3 for this, or stay on the line. Because we have lots of urgent cares when we bring them on and we're going through our first set of calls with them and so forth. We're like, hey, can we turn off your phone tree? Because it's just ruining your conversion. Because we know most people, if they have to listen to a phone tree or listen to this forever intro message and it's more than 40 seconds long or 45 seconds long, they're done. They're like, I can't get to the person. Click. I'm going to call the next one. I even saw a recording yesterday where the guy, this is the part that's mind blowing to me. The guy called and said, hey, I had an STD test done, but I don't know which clinic it was. Did you by chance have my results?
Man.
And so like, there's this mindset. They don't really care who they're calling. They're just trying to call an urgent care. So it's going to be the easiest one to call. And for that guy, it was, hey, you answered. Can I ask you a question?
No, and that's
yeah, like tracking the immediate callback is a huge metric of success that we follow as well, because a lot of times we'll also see maybe they're not as bold to be calling every clinic brand in their area to try to find out where they were seen, but they'll call back to that same phone number within less than a minute and hit a different dial pad input, trying to get to billing or like a nurse triage line or prescription management line, knowing that they don't need to be seen or have a question about anything related to a prescription, for example. They're just trying to do the path of least resistance to get to a human, and then it throws everything else off. And so those are all metrics that we track as well. And what we've continued to see is that when Flip is part of the process, patients are happier because what they really care about in that moment, when they're already candidly not feeling well, which is why they are wanting to come into urgent care to begin with, they care about speed. So Flip is able to give that to them, and hooking into the data sources where we can actually take action instead of just being a ticket taker also works in our favor from the speed factor.
I specifically want to lean into that a little bit because you talked about it being able to take action inside of the softwares. So I guess the first part of the question is, when you say that, are you talking about their EMRs? Are you talking about their schedulers? What is the scope in which you can plug in? And then 2, what sort of task can Flip do on your client's behalf?
Yeah. So I think looking at the reasons patients call into the clinic, somewhere around 40 to 50%, half of all calls is patients calling in to schedule a visit or to come into the clinic. So the first thing is we integrate with all of the booking systems for urgent care around the country. So we answer, we speak to the patient, and we get them into the booking system. So we take an action and we actually get them scheduled into the booking system. Then depending on our client, we will make a note within the EMR that we've spoken to the patient or that we've called them. We'll also, if we switch over to the billing side, we will take and update insurance information, or we will create tickets to send out itemized invoice or similar. But I would say the main integration, just based on the sheer call volume, is to interact with the booking system and get patients into the booking system and into an appointment.
Okay, so its primary function is to get them scheduled, new patients through the door, or at least patients through the door. Are there secondary capabilities where it is plugged into the EMR and can deliver like labs or anything like that, or is that strictly off limits and reserved?
I have a
No,
good bonus
so
example.
yeah, go ahead, Eva.
I'll give my example, and then Axel can talk to the specifics because I would butcher it. But we just did a refresh listen mode with a customer we'd been working with for over a year now at this point. And they have, typically like what Axel said is we see the pre-visit type of calls, like what's the wait time? Can I be seen for this type of service? Can I book an appointment with you right now? Those are, the majority top three intents by volume that we see, but labs results was right up there in their top three. And we found that every time a patient was calling back asking about the status of their lab results, there was on average 12 minutes of hold time while that front desk representative went on a treasure hunt, essentially, to try to find a nurse or the provider and find out, how many days it had been since their visit, what the average turnaround was. And Flip, I'll speak specifically to, like the Xperity integration, the data point. We pull in just the status of the lab result, and we know how many days it typically takes for the lab result to come in post visit. And we can tell patients right out the gate by recognizing, okay, we see a phone number come in. Do we tie that to an existing EHR record for a patient? Yes. Okay, if it shows that there was a lab result that came through from a recent visit, we can proactively ask, are you calling about the lab results from your visit on X date? They say yes, we can say, okay, your results are ready. Can we help you access them? And right then and there, within 30 seconds, we've accomplished what teams were hunting, 12 plus minutes for in the regular setting pre-Flip. So the labs has been a huge one. Axel, what would you add there?
No, and I think what I would say the interesting thing is to see, because I mean, patients. We had this one example of the person calling into any urgent care to figure out if they were the ones that had taken their labs, but we see so many calls where patients call in just to check if their labs are back. At least a quarter of all like labs related calls are patients calling before their labs are back. And I mean, we mentioned the 40 seconds within the IVR and button pressing before you're even gotten through. In shorter amount of time than that, Flip will give you the answer saying your labs are not back yet, but we will reach out if that's needed, which shortens the time to that resolution or for that patient to get the answer they're looking for down to 20, 30 seconds.
Amazing. I love that. So there's a deep level of integration going on. I think we've already established that. What is AI playing into all this process?
That's a great question. I would say the core of it is being conversational. Okay. Actually speaking to the patient, understanding what the patient is saying, and surfacing the relevant information for the patient at that period of time. Are you asking for a service? We'll give you the relevant information about that service. Are you asking about if insurance is accepted or the cost for a certain test? We'll surface the relevant information for that. I would say that's the core part that AI is speaking, and also being human about it. Doing it. But then in the background, there's all of this hard-coded, strict verification of ensuring that there's no AI that can access incorrect information or anything like that. So there's this very hard, strict layer below the AI that can then have the conversation.
I think
that. Something that another example of the AI in play is with the sentiment analysis. Like Flip will actually be listening for tones of frustration. And it'll allow us proactively to get ahead of any escalations or unhappy patient scenarios. Like if there is someone who is just determined to get through to a human, and we can tell that it is negatively impacting their experience with the clinic, then we'll go ahead and say, like, sorry, you sound frustrated. Like, let me get you through to someone right away.
You
yes,
need a
ma'am.
Snickers bar.
Yeah, next thing you know, it DoorDashes.
You're not you and you're hungry.
That's funny. I love that. So it's got a sentiment tracker in there to minimize any kind of negativity or damage, and allow that human to step in and make that correction. What's the confidence level in that human making that correction?
That's right.
Please don't answer this one.
I was going to say, don't answer that. There are people that listen that answer phones as well. We love you. We adore you. Answer more calls.
If Flip is handling 40% of all of the inbound volume, then when it gets to the receiving end, to the real human, then hopefully they feel much more alleviated and at a peaceful state of
love
mind
that.
to take that frustration call. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the like a nice thing when we've done rollouts for clients, and some of them choose not to inform their staff. But then it starts trickling up that it feels like the phones are calling less. It feels like I have slightly more time, and then that's one of the outcomes at the front desk that Flip helps generate.
I feel like I should do a feature request on Flip when there's a really upset person with Flip and says, "I can tell that you are upset." Let it whisper to the receptionist and they pick up, "Hey, be ready for this one."
Beware.
Here's your warning.
That's right. Well, give us a sneak peek into where Flip is headed. I think a lot of people are familiar with Flip and what it can do, but with AI changing on what feels like a minute by minute basis at this point,
yes,
where are you headed?
I think there are always things we want to do in being more conversational, being more emotional, being more receptive to whatever the patient says. And that's like one very, very straight direction that we're always working to improve the way that the AI speaks to the patient. I think on top of that, it's definitely working more with the proactive care, working more with re-engaging patients after a visit, being better in the way that we do outbound calling to engage the patient continuously on their care journey, even for urgent care. And then I'd say what we're also exploring and working on in the short term right now is figuring out how do we best manage if there's a temporary closure in one clinic, but the client has another clinic nearby. How do we offer up that nearby clinic in a good way? How do we offer up telehealth as an option as well, if that's within the client's network or way of providing care? So that Flip is part not only of booking you at this clinic, but working with the network of clinics that you have.
Let me ask the $1 million question. Does Flip intercept 100% of the calls?
Flip intercepts 100% of the calls, but some callers hang up.
It doesn't miss calls, right? Like it's not missing them.
No.
And so
100% of calls go answered. Yeah.
What the data bears out on our end is you're saying 40% of the calls go missed. We're seeing 50, 60, and in some cases 70% of the calls going missed,
which is just wild.
There's an absurd amount of calls being missed. So let's just play the field real quick and just say that it's 50% miss rate. Okay. And there's 1,000 calls that come in. 500 of those calls go answered. What we have also learned in the data that we've tracked across hundreds of locations is that 61%, not a made up statistic, 61% of the calls are with intent to come in for an appointment. Yep. They want to do business with your clinic. So I don't know what 61% of 500 is, but that's a lot of opportunities going missed on a regular basis that if you could just capture back by only answering the phone, that's all you changed. Having somebody or something Flip answer your phone, the profound impact that it could have on your urgent care, it's really hard to explain because you don't really believe what's coming out of my mouth. Otherwise, you'd answer your phone. So, Ava, I want to ask you, maybe you have better data than I do. Once Flip is integrated into a clinic, obviously the call volume, missed call volume drops off drastically. What sort of increase are you seeing in patient volume based on just answering the phone?
It's very significant. So one of the main things that we look at when we're determining how successful Flip is the baseline call to visit ratio. So of all the inbound call opportunity that comes through the phone line on any given day, how many visits are actually being generated and converted to a seen patient at the clinic as a direct result of that phone booking. And something that, there are two angles. One is the data that you just explained that's consistent with what we see. Majority of the calls that come through are pre-visit. If those are being missed, you can very reasonably assume that you're missing opportunity to convert patients. But I think the indirect side of that is not every front desk representative or call taker is going to understand that when a patient's calling, asking about offered services, cost of self-pay, what type of insurance do you accept? Is there a wait right now? A lot of times they're just going to give a check the box answer because they have a line of people in front of them. They're trying to give an answer and move on to the next. That in their logic is doing the best thing that they can. But when you think of it from a business outcome standpoint, we know that they're not just asking those questions out of the curiosity of their heart and soul. They're asking because there's a need to be seen. And Flip every single time understands the actual outcome that the patient would need, and it allows us to be proactive in trying to drive that outcome. And that's something that you don't see with call takers or clinic staff, from capacity and just, how they're prioritizing the day and their role within the business. So we track that baseline call to visit conversion, and then we have metrics or parameters that allow us to statistically be confident that the booking that was driven by Flip directly influenced the patient that walked through the door, and we measure that all within our dashboards in real time. So I think incrementally, a group with 100+ clinic locations, we were able to generate over $1 million when you look at the year-over-year comparison before Flip and then after. So it's no small chunk of change that we're helping these groups move and getting more patients through the door.
So I guess the biggest question would be, I happen to know it's around $1 a flip. I'm sure it gives or takes based on contracts and everything that you have going in there. I hope if I need to delete that, let me know.
But it's easy, man.
But what I'm saying though is just simply put, would you pay somebody $1 to put somebody into your schedule?
Yeah. It sounds trivial, right?
Because what you will do is you'll pay $60,000 for somebody to sit at the front desk and not do that. Here's what we know you'll do. We know you'll do that, but would you pay for $1 for somebody to actually turn this into somebody who's coming into your clinic? It seems like a no-brainer. Maybe I'm not laying it up correctly. Obviously, I'm trying to pitch this because I want our listeners to answer their phone in a desperate way, right? Because I know the impact that it's going to have. So if y'all think y'all can lay that up better, which I know you can, please do, because I want them to call you. I want them to get on the horn with you and fix this problem.
It just helps us.
Yeah.
It's totally self-serving. If you want to join the sales team at Flip, you have a spot. You nailed it. It is $1 per flip. I also liked how you said $1 a flip. But yes, that's our standard rate. And the go-to is it's, built month to month as the baseline based on the usage. Out the gate, you can expect 30-40% automation. And we define our automation number as Flip handles entirely start to finish without needing to forward to a human. So we're actually really helping on more than just that 30-40% call out the gate too. But yeah, we always, after the free trial is the first step, and we look at the numbers, and the first thing we think is, do the numbers and cents add up? And is this actually saving you time and resources as a business? And if it's not, we look at those numbers. We look at extended term contracts. We can do discounted rates on the dollars and make it something that is impactful for both groups. So, yeah, we always
and we know it's impactful.
Exactly.
That is proven time and again.
All right. Well, I want to do the fire questions real quick. I got one last question, and you can ask whatever you want. Yep. All right, Axel, if you could just hit the switch and turn on the next feature that would solve the biggest problem for the clinics, which feature would that be? I'm trying.
What to pick?
You're like
that's
testing
hard.
me,
If I can ask the question in a way that'll get something new, I'm going to do it.
No, I think I think it's coordination of benefits.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
I switch from the visit side and do the insurance side. I think something we're working on.
I think everybody listening's mouths just watered when you said that, so you may be onto something.
I mean, I can't even imagine calling into a clinic and says, "Would you like to verify if your insurance will work or not?" Yes. Here, please give us this information. Great. This is what your copay will be.
And on the receiving end of that, like the actual caller, do you have a secondary insurance you want us to run too? Oh, how about that?
Yeah, and they're like, oh, we do accept that too. Thank you.
Right.
Please, would you like to book your appointment now?
That's right.
I just think that that would be ideal. But one thing I wanted to touch on before we go into fire off questions is, so I do a lot of front desk training. I talk to a lot of urgent care owners, managers, all the things, and it all goes the same way. The owner or manager or whomever says, yeah, I think we have a front desk issue, but I'm not sure. And so, what do you think the issue is? Well, I think we have one person that probably doesn't do it very well or whatever. It's like, okay, cool. I go and review the call. It's like, you have this same problem with everyone, but you have one person that's pretty good. And then they'll say, well, how much of those calls is it happening? It's like, probably about at least half or more. This is all happening. Well, it's so funny to me because they're surprised. And I say to myself, well, you have a phone system, it probably has recordings already turned on. You don't even know it. You can take 1 hour, and find out exactly how messed up your front desk is. And because usually what happens, like we talk about the issues, and I say, all right, we can train. Here's the things you want to train on. And then about 30, 60 days later, they come back and say, hey, these people aren't getting it. Well, I was like, well, you can either find new people, keep trying on the training, or you're going to have to look at AI to kind of take over some of that. And they'll say, well, tell me more about the AI stuff. What should we do? Because they'll also say, I tried AI years ago. I didn't like it. I was like, well, it has changed quite a bit. So my push to the urgent care owners and managers are listening right now. If you haven't in the past 6 months, year, or ever gone and just listened to some of your calls that come in for 1 hour, just take 1 hour and just kind of breeze through those calls. And then if you're still not convinced, look at how long they are. If any call is over 2 to 3 minutes, there's a problem. So like there's a problem that can be solved, and not just from a standpoint of getting people in the door, but increasing that patient experience and making it better for everybody. So that's my push. If you're saying, I don't need this, I think we're fine, I challenge you to take 1 hour out of your time and find out for sure, do you have a front desk problem or you don't? And chances are you probably do. But that was just my little spill there before we go off into firing questions, but I just want to put that out there.
Hey, we're going to hit y'all with 2 questions each. We did a fire round last time. It was fun. Y'all want to do it again?
Sure do.
Let's do it.
I was going to say, my dad used to tell me no is a complete sentence. So if you don't want to, let me know now's the time.
No.
All right, here we go. I'm going to ask the first one to Ava. Ava, what is one habit that makes you better at your job every day?
I care a lot.
Caring is a habit.
Caring is a habit.
Okay.
You have to be intentional. I think a habit. I think I tend to lean positive, but I always look for a positive
I love that.
in every day, I would say.
I love that. My one habit is I don't set a wake up alarm. I set a bedtime alarm. It's changed everything for me. Michael?
So let me ask, looking at AI tools across the board, what's an AI tool right now you just can't live without?
I'm going to be vanilla and say Claude.
I was going to say Claude.
It just crushes
Me
it.
and Claude
Yeah.
are fighting right now. So good
Claude
for you.
Really?
hates Nick right now.
That's pissed at me.
Our little
no, that will be
are
it.
working their booty off. They've been helping me a ton. Even just getting like sandbox testing, one pagers spun up, saves so much time for me from the sales standpoint, just in asset development.
I love it. Have you played with Manus yet? Okay.
I have not.
We spoke about it. I haven't. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Claude does everything that you want it to, but Manus is no slouch either.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see here. I want to ask a good one. Ava, a book, a podcast, or a resource you would recommend to people who are building in healthcare?
Well, you guys are one. I love the variety of perspective that you bring onto your podcast. You really do stand out in that realm, and I get a lot of good insight from a lot of different areas of expertise from listening to your podcasts. So I'll cop out answer there.
You were too
But
kind.
no, otherwise, just honestly, the relationships that I have with our customers, I think it's really lucky to have a lot of like-minded customers, especially as we've built out the healthcare vertical at Flip. I think it's rare to just have a lot of great collaborators and thought partners who have lived the industry from so many different angles. Having that true kind of living case study as a resource has been everything for my development in the healthcare space.
I love it.
All right. So final question to both of you. I'll let Axel answer first. And I remember the answer that you guys gave when we did the first recording.
Let's see if it's the same.
Let's see if it's the same. If you could automate one annoying thing in your daily life with some AI, what would it be?
I go first.
Yeah.
I was like, did I say laundry or dishes? But I would say dishes. Laundry gives me peace. Dishes, I would automate.
Yes.
I like that. Ava.
Maybe I'll say this because I still haven't booked my Chicago flight for Sunday. Maybe some reliable, just magic wand schedule coordinating. I could use some of that.
Did I mention Manus earlier? I'm just throwing that out there for you.
We're gonna have to take a look.
What'll blow your mind is when it books the trip for you. Hey, book me on a trip, and it just goes and does it for you.
You put your card details in there?
At your discretion. By the way, it hasn't because it's charging you for it, but that's another story. It'll literally ask you, do you want to use the card we use on file? Here we go. Just saying. No, that's really good. Here's the last question, and Ava, it's for you, is if somebody is interested in Flip, learning more about it, they want to see a demo, they want to listen to a call, they want to know how it's going to work for their clinic, best way to get in touch with you, and what can they expect?
Yes, you can always reach out from our website, flipcx.com, go to the healthcare tab, contact us. It'll immediately send through a ticket, and we'll be able to set up a conversation. Or you can go to my LinkedIn, reach out to me directly. I always welcome that. And what you could expect is we would have a conversation about where your key patient data lives, whether it's, which EHR you use, where's the billing data, what scheduling platform are you using. Usually can find that out just from looking at their website as well. But we would talk through setting up listen mode, which is always the first step to really tailoring our free trial approach. So that way we're able to understand through listen mode, what are the reasons why patients are actually calling your clinics today, so that when we're hooking into whatever data source we need to, or plugging in into the configurations like Axel was mentioning, we're basing it off of true patient conversations that are directly aligned to your business. And then we prove ourselves with that free trial as the first step. And so even if you're hesitant, there's no risk really in giving it a try, whether it's inbound or outbounds. At the very least with outbounds too, if you're reluctant to have someone helping answer the phones out the gate, let us do some outbounds and prove that we can convert some incremental visits for you, maybe revive some low-hanging fruit like a cancellation or a no-show, or even make a collections call to collect some money for you earlier in the Dunning schedule. There's very little risk in that. So and then if you don't want to work with us from there, then at least you have the analysis and all of the, all of the insight to use internally, however you would like. So.
Yeah, that 1 hour I talked about prior, you could just let Flip take care of that 1 hour for you in the little test trial.
There you go.
It's true.
Let it do the thing. Well, listen, we love having you on the podcast. This is the second time it'll air. But we really appreciate you coming on, talking about Flip, where it's going, how you're solving problems. Axel, congratulations on being a dad.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
Congrats.
Thank you very much.
I will tell you to get some sleep, but tell your lovely bride to get some sleep, and you step up like a man and get the job done.
There you go.
That's what we need to do. I'm just kidding. I know you're doing that. Ava, the team's going to see you at the conference coming up, the UCA, correct?
That's right.
According to the air schedule, right?
Assuming you get your, you may be driving it.
I know some guys with the plane.
There you go.
Well,
yes, you do.
sort of.
Yeah. Well, I would love
Not
to go
too
out to
far out of the way,
California.
huh?
That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Again, thank y'all for coming on, and for our audience, thank you for listening. We're so glad to have you. Smash a subscribe button. Leave us a review. If you like us, tell somebody. If you don't like us, tell two people, and we'll see y'all the next time. All right. Have a good one. Thanks for being on with us.
Thanks so much.